Next step in the project 2 is to take that ticker symbol assignment maybe and go one step further and add a little bit of data to that, um, so we can move on and just keep working towards the final paper. So you'll find the assignment actually right here under this project 2 introduction, the Word document. So if you open that up, you'll see this, and it's kind of an introduction to the assignment. But it gives you some links here too that are going to be really important. So, by the way, I went through I think all of the ticker symbols, or at least the ones that were submitted as of yesterday. Some interesting ones, a lot of common ones that I've seen before, a couple of new ones, which is always exciting for me. I really look forward to that. The probably the most prominent one, or that several people chose, was Tesla, and I responded to everybody I think that chose Tesla and said, I'm not sure that's the best choice, and I say that because Tesla is it's a new it's not a new company. It's been around for a while, but it's only been in the last year or two that it has turned a profit. It doesn't mean it's a bad stock to own. I can tell you Amazon went for years and years and years without showing a profit, and yet it was growing like crazy, okay, and would have been an excellent investment for anybody, okay, but it's also harder to analyze. It's just a little bit more difficult to analyze. And that's what this class and that's what this paper, this assignment, this project is about, is doing an analysis of it. And so I'm not kicking that back, and I've never told anybody, I haven't told anybody that they can't do Tesla. All I've said is that it may be a little more difficult to analyze versus a company that's had some steady earnings, steady revenue, and those types of things, or at least steady reports of those types of things over the past few years. So again, your choice. One other one that got chosen too, and Tesla kind of fits into this category a little bit too, but the other one person chose is GameStop. Now, and GameStop's fine. You can do GameStop. Here's the thing: GameStop's been in the news a lot lately, and it's very interesting what's going on with the stock, okay, and the stock price. It's probably in the last month been the most volatile stock that's been traded, okay. Doesn't matter, okay. I don't care what the stock has done. You guys need to know that at the start and at the finish of this paper. I don't care what the stock is doing, okay, whatsoever. Your job's going to be to analyze the underlying financial statements, okay. The stock price is really, I won't say unrelated to that, because a lot of people investigate or analyze the underlying financials of a company in order to decide whether or not they want to purchase stock in that company. And so, they're certainly related, but sometimes the stock, the action in a particular stock is completely unhinged or unrelated to those underlying financials, and that's what's happened with GameStop. So that's fine, do GameStop, you can analyze that, but I don't really want to see anything in the final paper about the price of the stock, with one exception, and that is, like, in the very last paragraph, maybe in one or two sentences, you might say something to this effect, given the volatility and the recent run-up in the price, I think GameStop's too expensive, so I'd recommend you don't buy it, okay? That's the only time, and it shouldn't be any more than one or two sentences where there's any reference even to the stock price, okay? So keep that in mind. Here's your assignment, and it's not a long one, that again goes with the project, and it kind of goes with the ticker symbol, but you'll after you found the ticker symbol, which most of you did, and you had it reported correctly, so tell me the company's last closing price, tell me the company's price to earnings ratio, is what PE stands for, and tell me the company's previous year's earnings per share. So we'll use one example. This one, I'm going to go to it because it's kind of my favorite, and I'd like you guys maybe. I think this one will be really helpful for the final paper, and so you might want to get used to using this one anyhow. But any of these will probably have that basic information that I just provided, and it'll have even more information on financials and those types of things. So you're welcome to kind of use those and explore the kind of information that they have available. But the one that seems to be the most complete, and for the very basics of your paper, for your research, this works. Again, when you get into more details, you're going to have to get into the annual reports. But let's click on that, and you have to hit the control and double click apparently. And hopefully this takes you right to, yeah, it takes you to market data. I maybe could have gone one step further, because what you want to click on here is this equities and options. Okay, so we click on that, and now you know your ticker symbol, right? And that's enter a symbol or a keyword, and that's what it's asking for there, is the particular ticker symbol that you might have for a company. So I'm going to try to think of a company, maybe that I've got one that's kind of on my watch list, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it just because the market, I think, is a little bit too high, but it's McCormick. Okay, McCormick and Company Inc. Non-voting, this can be a little bit confusing. This is voting versus non-voting, right? Oftentimes what a company will do, kind of a little learning session here, is when they go public, they want to retain control. And so they'll keep voting stock and issue non-voting stock. The two share, the stock should go pretty much in alignment with each other, up and down in alignment. But obviously, if it's non-voting, you don't get to go to the annual meeting and present your, make your case or make votes or whatever in the voting stock, and then that allows, founders oftentimes to retain controls. We'll look at the non-voting. Good teaching moment. So what did I ask for? I asked for the last closing price. Okay, and obviously, what you want to do is put your date on there. Okay, so last price, it wasn't a closing price. I'd actually have to go to yesterday, or I could do the math. It opened today, here we go, at 84.50. Previous close 84.15. Okay, close enough. If you got one of these numbers in there, I'm probably going to give you credit, right? Gives us a pretty good idea of what the price is, right? But the previous close was $84.15. I also asked then for what's the company's PE ratio, or price to earnings ratio, that's called. Okay, so you take the price, $85.79, times its divided by its earnings per share, which we'll get to in a minute because that's your third question, and you get what's called a price to earnings ratio, and that's 28.49. I'm going to tell you that that's pretty high by historical standards. I don't know about if that's high by historical standards for McCormick, but for the market as a whole, that's pretty high. Okay, then the last question was earnings per share, and it's down here. Okay, earnings per share last year, and that's what this would be. It might be trailing 12 months, but it probably last year, it's $2.78. Okay, you may, as you go through some of these financials here, I'll click on this just to give you an idea. You'll see, let's go to the income statement. Okay. Oh, I was going to say they should have trailing 12 months, and they do. Okay, in this case, their corporate year end is in November, right? So actually, they just had an end of a quarter, and they'll be coming out with some new quarterly reports, but their year end was November of 2020. Okay, and so their trailing 12 months along with their last year are the same, and so their earnings per share either on the trailing 12 months or for the last year were the same. Why do I got earnings per share? I got basic and I got diluted here. Again, a little bit of a teaching moment, but basic just takes into account the actual shares that are outstanding. Diluted, without getting too complicated, and I might confuse myself if I got into it too much, but diluted means that they also take into consideration some stock options that are out there, maybe that employees have, right? Oftentimes they give those as part of a compensation package, and it may take into consideration some other things, but generally that's kind of one of the main things. So that's enough for today. That should get you going on that assignment without too many problems. But mess around while you're in there. Do a little looking at the company and see how they're doing, right? You just look at that, kind of a nice increases in revenue, just kind of eyeball that at least for now. And you may take a look at the future assignments and start moving in that direction a little bit. But there you have it. Good luck with that. I think it's due this week. Thank you very much.